Good morning, welcome to Sports Radio 1310 The Ticket. George DiGianni, Train Station Fitness Show. Guests in the studio, my expert panel. I have Dr. Jeremy Webster, CompleteHealthDallas.com is his website. And we also have Dr. Kevin Light, who is with Dallas Healthy Aging for hormone balance. If you didn't hear the show during the week, or the promo during the week, we're talking about you today. You are the topic. We are literally here winging it. There's no prepared topic because the topic is you. If you want to direct the show today to be yours, then you can call us at 888-787-1310. That's obviously toll free. And I know we have people listening out of the country. So if you have any calls or questions or comments about your health, someone significant in your life, making an impact in their life, and finding out maybe which supplements they need to support where they currently are. Here's a question I have for you, Dr. Webster. If somebody's not willing to change their life as far as their lifestyle, their food lifestyle, they eat like crap, but they need to be supported while they're eating that way, which supplements could they? Now, I'm not trying to give people permission.
Okay.
I know where you're going. I see you smiling. Which supplements should someone use to support an unhealthy lifestyle? Not that it'll make them healthy, but which ones would that be? And then, Dr. Light, the question for you coming up would be, I eat healthy, Doc. I exercise all the time, but God, I feel weak. Is it just my age? What does that do to? And how do we address that? So those are my questions for both of you doctors. And so until people do call in, we'll address those two questions. But today's show, the topic is you. It's the All About You show. You got to call in. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting here twiddling our thumbs. It's 703, let me give you the number again, 888-787-1310. 703 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. 711 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. George DiGianni, Train Station Fitness Show. The All About You show, Dr. Kevin Light and Dr. Jeremy Webster in the studio. The show is devised around you. We don't have any topic today because you're the topic. So I don't want to say we don't have a topic, but you're the topic. Hey, Dave, just to let you know, I don't have the board open for other people who are calling. So you're just going to have to tell me who's on the line. Let's pull them up.
Blake in Dallas.
All right, Mike, let's go ahead. Go ahead, Mike. You're on the ticket.
What's going on, man?
What's your name?
I'm Blake.
Hey, Blake, go ahead. What's your question?
All right, well, my question is, so if I would like to work out, which I don't normally, how can I do that as a bartender and it's 7 o'clock in the morning? And where do I go at the end of the day to work out or try to better myself when I get off at 4 o'clock in the morning?
That's a great question. So how long or how many days a week are you bartending?
5.
5 days a week you bartend, and you seem to be a little unsure of that. Is that like, does it fluctuate? Some days are 4, some weeks are 4, some are 5?
It can be 7, depending on shows and things like that.
So one of the things I would do, here's what tends to happen. You guys can chime in on this if you want. Here's what tends to happen with people who have a night shift type of job is they get into a certain routine, and when they sleep, tell me if this is you also, Blake. When you sleep, you don't tend to sleep 7 or 8 hours after you've gotten home at that time of the day because it's light out. And you tend to sleep maybe 4, 5, sometimes 6 hours. Is that true?
Absolutely. I'm up right now.
Exactly. Well, yeah, you're up right now. Maybe you haven't gone to bed yet, but when you go to sleep, sometimes we don't get enough sleep. My suggestion is, and you may have heard Dr. Webster and myself and Tina and even Dr. Light talk about burst training. You've heard of it?
Yes.
So my suggestion for you, and I highly recommend this for you, is to perform some burst training exercises. 1 or even 2 will help you because it'll help you with adrenal issues. You tend to feel, and I'm going to guess that you feel this way. Tell me if you think I'm totally off my rocker. You tend to feel tired during the day. You eat horrible food, not only because of where you work, but because that's what you crave. You might be moody, have headaches, you put on a little weight.
I love hamburgers and hot dogs and absolutely awful things.
Right. So what happens is when we have adrenal fatigue due to a lifestyle or a work type of environment that is like yours where you're up all night and getting home early in the morning, your body's having trouble adapting to that lifestyle because it doesn't like it, doesn't know it, it's not normal. It totally messes up our rhythms. Now, I know we can, over a period of time, Dr. Light might be able to tell you this better than I could, over a period of time, we can adapt. But when you have sunlight coming in, I think you're not really ever getting a chance to adapt. Isn't that correct?
Any long-term stressor to your body like he's undergoing,
Yeah.
your cortisol levels are going to be just screaming. And when you have sustained high cortisol levels, the metabolic effects, it affects everything.
Right. So when we talk about burst training, and I know Dr. Webster wants to comment also, but when we talk about burst training, Blake, and the importance of that, I cannot stress enough that you specifically need to use this type of exercise routine. And I'll give you one or two exercise ideas in a moment because it'll help to lower your stress levels and help you to get more fit if that's also what you're looking for, to lose some weight. But you, of all people, need this type of routine. Dr. Webster.
And I was going to say, one thing that you probably should do is black out your room.
Yeah.
I suggest, even if you're up till 4 o'clock, black out your room completely.
Oh,
where
no,
there's
my
not-
room's blacked out completely.
It is?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when you do sleep, you sleep about 4, 5, 6 hours? How long do you
That's
sleep?
not the problem because I black out my room and then I don't wake up because
But
it's.
that's good though. If you're getting home at 4 o'clock in the morning, then sleep till noon. Try to get that 7 or 8 hours of sleep in the pitch dark.
The other thing,
Yeah, well,
how about we give him another
then-
suggestion? Go here. So here's my suggestion for exercises, Blake. You sound like you're in your 20s. How old are you?
29.
All right, so you're 29. You know what a push-up is. You've done push-ups before. I don't care if you like them or not. My suggestion
No, I
is
am.
that you do push-ups on, and I'd like for you to visualize this for a moment. When I say on your knees, I actually mean more on your quadricep, like where your feet are facing the sky or facing the ceiling. And do those to complete failure. I want you to do 5 sets of those to complete failure till you can't do another one. And do that for about a week and a half, and then move to your toes where you're doing a proper push-up or a traditional push-up, if you will.
How are your feet facing the sky? Explain.
So if you're on your knees,
Yeah.
you're the heels, the bottom of your feet are facing the sky.
Okay.
I heard that, yeah.
bad.
Funny,
Okay.
yeah.
And the reason I'm saying that, Blake, is because when you do that intense exercise and you're supporting your entire weight, you're working your entire body, and you go to complete failure, and you rest completely, get full recovery, and then do it again. Make sure you're fully recovered. It might take you 15 minutes just to do 4 or 5 sets of push-ups. The reason we're doing that is because we're trying to align, to reset is probably a better word, reset your body to manage the stress, to lower the stress. So while you're getting exercise benefits of strength and maybe lowering body fat, the bigger benefits, Dr. Webster, would just run them off, if you will, by doing this type of exercise routine.
Well, it shuts down like you mentioned, it shuts down your stress response. It makes you more
Right.
efficient at burning sugar, more efficient at burning triglycerides, increases your sensitivity to insulin. It basically just resets your body. And it's also an anti-inflammatory type of exercise. So there's a lot of great benefits other than just fat burning.
There's another one I'd like for you to do, Blake. Go on YouTube and look up body squats. It's where you use your own body weight to squat. And I even have this in my 30-day fat loss program where I show you burst training routines. There's 2 different videos you get that shows you exactly how to perform burst training, how to recover, all the benefits of it, and there's many different exercises. You'll see girls, guys, everybody doing this routine, and it's intense, but boy, when I tell you your body will change, your life will change, your outlook on life will change just because of the exercise. Notice I didn't say anything about changing what you eat. Do that, and I believe, my opinion is the good eating will follow, okay?
Yeah.
Have a great day. Stay in touch with us, Blake. Let's go to Dave in Dallas. Dave, you're on the All About You show on the ticket. What is the topic you would like to discuss?
Thank you, George. I love this show.
Thank you.
I'm a 55-year-old male, 5'10", 152 pounds. I lift weights 3 or 4 times a week. I do burst training 3 times a week. I eat like 100 grams of protein a day. I want to know if it's possible or even feasible to be able to put on like 10 pounds of muscle in like a year without supplementation.
All right, so those are really good questions. Give me your height again.
I'm 5'10".
So 5'10", 150 pounds you want to put on weight, correct?
Yes.
You want to do it without supplementation. This is a fantastic topic, guys, because it can take us in many different directions. I want you guys to comment first, and I'll come in afterward.
Well, my first comment is why without supplementation?
I was just gonna ask that.
Sometimes it's actually cheaper to get the calories and the protein and the amino acids that you need through supplementation than to eat steak and chicken and fish. Meat's pretty expensive these days.
Yeah, I know there's. I'm aware of that. There's just so much. I'm just kind of scared. Well, I don't know there's so many bad supplements out there. I don't know which one to take.
I love that. Dave, I hate that you're afraid, but I love that you're calling us to help guide you. There are professional grade supplements that myself, Dr. Webster, Dr. Light, all sell that work in accordance with your body to assist your organs and glands to do what they want to do, not fight them and stimulate them and make them worse like you'll buy when you go to a retail store. That's the reason we do this education on the show. It is imperative that you use a supplement, or even Dr. Light's business, a bioidentical hormone if you need them, so your body recognizes it and uses it and aligns with it, so you get not only the benefits you want of how you look and how you feel, but that it doesn't work against your health, it works with your health. Dr. Light, before I chime in on this more, I'd like for you to comment if you have anything to say.
I was just going to agree with the hormone thing. And a lot of people, if you get to a certain level in life to where your hormone levels are low, frequently, no matter what you do, exercise or diet, you sort of peak out, and it's an extra little benefit. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to use bioidentical hormones. You can also use supplements that enhance those hormones on their own, but that's a real big component.
So so people might be asking themselves, and maybe it's not Dave, which supplements should or could he use to gain weight?
First of all, you just have to start with protein.
Okay.
A non-denatured or raw whey protein would be the first place to start. Glutamine can be helpful. If your hormones are low, you might be low in zinc. You might be low in B12 or folate.
Magnesium.
Magnesium's another one. Vitamin D is another one. So you need to identify which of the particular nutrients you might be low. But just starting with protein is important. And like I said, even though a tub of protein might be $50 or $60, the same amount of protein that you would get from a steak or a chicken breast would cost you $180.
Or even if let's say the steak is only $50, it's one-time meal opposed to extended meals.
Yeah, I'm talking about the equivalent total amount for 30 servings.
Right.
Is going to be a whole lot more money.
Yeah.
To get the same amount of protein.
Now, Dave, I'm gonna approach this in a different way. Okay, how many days a week do you perform strength training?
3 or 4 times a week.
3 or 4. Let me share this with you. Studies came out a long time ago saying that if you exercise resistance training 3 days a week, you're maintaining where you already are if you currently exercise. If you go from 0 exercise to exercise, you'll actually benefit with those 3 days a week. So you need a minimum of 4 days a week. 6 is probably preferable to put on muscle. That's number 1. Number 2, how old are you?
55.
55. So you haven't put on muscle your entire life, my guess is. You've been skinny, correct?
Yeah, for most of my life, yeah.
All right, so my second question is, how many repetitions are you using when you exercise?
When I lift weights, what I try to do is I try to max out, go to failure at the 12th rep. And if I can go more than 12, I add weight. And if I fail at like less than 12, then I take a little weight off.
And that's very smart. We know between 10 and 12 reps is where it creates hypertrophy, and you will gain muscle there. If you're not doing that, I suggest, highly recommend, calling Dr. Light about checking your hormones. Actually, Dr. Webster can do the testing, and Dr. Light can help you with your hormones, or however they do their business. In addition to that, I would add the extra protein in. I would add the extra days of exercise in, and maybe, and we've not gone through this entire workout program, because I know people who are in my profession or our profession are listening saying, George, hold on. You've forgotten many questions here. We just have so many people on the line. You can seek us out for further advice if you'd like. Email us. But one of the things that stands out also is how many sets are you performing? How many exercises are you performing that work the largest muscles of your body? Are you just doing biceps and triceps and shoulders on one day? You're really not going to gain a whole lot of muscle that way. There's a lot of ways to look at this. There are many variables. So I suggest that you get in touch with one of us. We'll give you us our information toward the end of the show. Any other comments with Dave for Dave?
Yeah, the Bulgarians found that after about 48 hours, that's when muscle gains start to decline. So
Yeah.
that's why I like doing a full body workout every other day.
Yeah. Remember, someone who's in construction that builds homes or builds any commercial building, any type of building, they're working out 6 days a week. It just happens to be about 60% of the weight or 50% of the weight that they would use in a gym. They're doing it for the entire day. These are very strong people. So what creates muscle hypertrophy? Time under tension. 3 days a week is not going to do it, okay? He's gone. Have a great day. Okay, so coming up next, again, this is still the All About You show. And what I like about this is probably one of my most favorite All About You shows so far that I can recall, is we're kind of all over the board. We've talked diet, we've talked hormones, we've talked exercise, and hypertrophy. Someone's not saying, hey, what's going on with fat loss? Talk to me about fat loss. Nothing wrong with that. It's just I like being all over the place. It's the All About You show. We're going to go to a little break, so actually there's nothing to break, but we're going to leave for a little while and come back. 888-787-1310, direct to the show to be yours. What do you want to talk about? Tell us. Coming up next, 725, Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. 733, Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. George DiGianni, Train Station Fitness Show. The Ticket presents Shakespeare in the Park. Or The Parks, A Midnight Summer's Dream, running through July 20th. This comedy is about love triangle where you'll experience love, laughs, and a special flower power, if you will. Log on to theticket.com and get registered to win a family 4-pack of tickets, A Midnight Summer's Dream, from your friends at The Ticket. In the studio, Dr. Jeremy Webster and also Dr. Kevin Light. We're discussing you. You're the topic. You decide the direction of the show. The number to call in right now, if it's hard to call in, keep calling back, 888-787-1310. Did we leave off with any hanging things or just calls? We didn't leave off with anything, did we?
Well, let's hit the next caller.
All right, let's tell. Who's next, Davey? Brad? Brad and Alan, you're on The Ticket.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Morning.
George and Dr. Webster, I've used both your programs with success, so I appreciate that. My question is regarding burst training. George, I've heard you talk about you get to the gym, warm up, you do 10 bursts, bring your heart rate down, and then you're done. My question is, if you go beyond that, if you're in decent shape, you work out regularly, is doing more than 10 bursts overtraining? Are you wasting your time, or can you get benefits from going beyond that?
That's a fantastic question. So let me answer it in a couple of different ways, and I'll let these other guys chime in. When I worked out with the Dallas Stars, J.J. McQueen, their strength conditioning coach, he would take. We would work out and go through about, I'm going to guess, let's say 6 exercises. And those 6 exercises were 40 seconds on, so really intense for 40 seconds, and then 40 seconds off. Well, that's how the elite athletes work out, and you know, I'm not that good a shape anymore. I'm still in great shape, but I don't work out like that anymore. So I needed about 1 minute off. I needed those extra 20 seconds. And so I would do 40 seconds on, a minute off, and then do that for 3 sets of about 4 or 5 exercises. It may not have been 6, it was 4 or 5 exercises. And we were done. And I think what happens is, if you go beyond a certain amount that you can handle, your certain fitness level and so forth, then what happens is you begin to pace. You're not as fresh as you were when you went all out on your first 1, 2, or 5 bursts. And if you're not able to do that, and I don't mean go all out with giving 100% effort, because you can still give 100% effort, but are you pacing yourself with the amount of effort you're giving? And if you are, you're not performing burst training anymore. If you're not, and you are an elite athlete and you can do more, do it. However, I wouldn't do that with every session, because you can create overtraining. That's my mindset with that protocol. Dr. Webster.
Yeah, if you do more than you really should, and more than you should is dependent on the person itself. Oh, sorry, sorry, Dave. If you do more than you should, which is very individual dependent, what's going to happen is you're going to burn out your adrenals, and you're also going to reduce your testosterone levels, both of which are going to help you recover. So you're going to get less out of the exercise rather than more by doing it.
And what he's asking, and he has a really good question, is how do I know if I'm doing more than I should? Is it about a heart rate monitor? is your heart rate staying high for a long period of time where you can't get that 11th burst in? If so, does he leave? What are the signs that tell him? And mine was, if it's this self-test of whether you're pacing or not. Are you putting out the same amount of effort, repetitions, whatever it is, time, as the first few?
A great indicator is how well are you progressing. If you're getting better and better and better, you're probably recovering well.
Right.
If you're plateauing, try reducing the amount of exercise you do and increasing the intensity of the exercise that you do, and you probably notice that you start making further gains. Less is usually more in exercise.
I love that pacing idea, George. I'm guilty of that myself. I'll get there and I'll go, well, I have this program in my mind, so I'm going to give it my all, and if I'm overdoing it, I'll pace that dude right on down so I can make my goal instead of really going for the effect.
Right. Well, maybe it's identifying a new goal within that certain routine.
Right.
So maybe the new goal is I'm going to perform so years ago when I was a big meathead, I would perform all these different routines that kind of were burst training already. Not kind of, they were burst training, but there was no name put to it. Okay, all these studies about burst training have been around since 1993. I don't know if you're aware of that. And it's on this type of routine that we're discussing today. One of the things I used to do was something called 50 reps. Another one I did was minute sets. So you had to perform as many repetitions as you possibly can in 1 minute. You couldn't stop because you're on time. Okay? 50 reps, you were able to stop if you needed to, but you had to complete 50 reps. So we had all these goofy little routines, but it made you shredded and it made you strong, and you could basically eat whatever you want. Not everyone has that focused routine because they have a life outside of the gym, and that's understandable. But if you want to effectively perform, be at a certain fitness level, fat loss and all those other benefits of burst training, you'll need that focus for a short period of time. Here's the great news about that style of routine. Once you have attained a certain look and or feel and blood work that we should have for optimal health, okay, you can back off. You don't have to do this forever. I mean, the last thing I want to do, I've been in the gym since I was 16, is be in a gym for hours. I'm in there 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and I'm done. And I'm still fit. And that's what I kind of think we all want. Who wants to be in there you're in the gym for an hour, Dr. Light.
Right.
You're 50-something years old. Do you want to be in a gym for an hour?
No, I'm ready to leave at 30 minutes.
Done. So who's next?
You get more
David?
out of it in 30 minutes.
You
That's
do.
the great thing.
If you do it properly.
Yeah.
Who have next?
Wow.
Oh, okay. Albert in Dallas, you're on the ticket.
Hello, George.
Morning.
George, I'm 52 years old, and I swim 2 to 3 days a week, and I also do like a sunstone yoga 2 to 3 days a week. I have a real hard time getting motivated to lift weights. I know I need to do it. I know I'm getting softer, and my body fat is going up, and I don't know how to incorporate the weights with I enjoy doing the swimming in the mornings and the yoga in the morning. I'm a morning guy. I work out in the mornings, and I work like 8 to 5 type. Can you help me with that?
I can, but I want these guys to chime in first.
Yeah, the first thing I would say is start with push-ups. Like George said, start on your knees, go to failure, and then work up to where you're doing a full, quote-unquote, man's push-up, where you're on your toes. Not that women can't do them as well. That's a good place to start, and the body weight squats. Do those, and then you can progress into heavier lifts where you're doing, if you want to gain muscle, you can do the 12 to 15 rep range. But you don't even need to do that unless you want to gain bulk. Just go to failure on your push-ups and your body squats, and that's a great place to start, and then progress from there.
Dr. Light, you want to have any input on this?
No.
All right, so let me share with you one of the things I learned that was, and you may say, George, that's so simple, that's what you got out of Harvard, but one of the things I got out of being in school recently was identifying customer-centric needs. When you have a business, you must identify what's important to the customer, not what you want the customer to know. They don't care. And what I heard from you, Albert, is you like yoga and you like swimming. So what I'd like to do is enhance your efforts in swimming. You know those weights that you use when you're in a pool that float to the top?
Yes.
And they have different levels that are very hard to actually push down in the water. My suggestion is, and I don't know, I've not done a routine like this, and maybe I'll do this in the future, is to perform some exercises you would perform using weights outside of the pool in the pool. We know that water has 15 times more resistance than air when working out in the air or outside. So if you're running in water and sprinting, you've got more resistance, therefore you'll get a better burst training workout. Number one. Number two, if you use some of those weights by doing something, by the way, I videotape all these shows, and it'll be on my Facebook page. Go to 21 Day Body Makeover. It's on YouTube, and I'm going to show you right now as I'm speaking to you. You have the weights in your hands, and you bring them together as if you're performing something called a fly, a dumbbell fly, and then you push them back behind you while keeping those dumbbell water weights in the water totally submerged. By doing this as fast and as hard as you can possibly go, you're going to create a lot of resistance. I think it'll make you motivated. You're staying in the pool. You're not just swimming. You're gaining resistance. You'll gain some muscle. You perform some burst training. You can't lose. There's many different things you can do in the pool. However, keep in mind, I like you're doing yoga, but you may have some bone density issues if you don't get outside and load the bone with your own body weight and maybe some resistance training, even if it's tubing. You must get outside of the pool and create that gravity, just like people who go up in space have to do specific routines when they come down, strength training routines, because they have that issue with getting more porous bones.
Yeah, here's a great burst for the pool. Also, get in about 3 to 3.5 feet of water. Jump as high as you can, land, and jump as high as you can again.
Right.
Repeat to complete exhaustion. Don't do it in deep water because I don't want you to drown.
Right.
But it works.
It's about 4 feet of water.
Really, really well.
Extremely well. There's many different things you can do. And years ago when I trained people, I would take people through a water workout. And, just a little fun tip for you. Did you know you can sweat in water?
Right.
I'm actually not being funny. You can sweat in water. And a lot of people don't realize that. So it's a good workout. Try that, Albert. Let us know how you did. Send me an email.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Who we have, Davey? Clint in Arlington, you're on the ticket.
Hey, George. Thanks
Morning.
for taking my call. Hey, my daughter and I just bought a juicer. We're not big vegetable eaters, but we find that with a juicer we eat vegetables that we wouldn't otherwise eat. I know we don't get 100% yield from the juicer, but are there specific vegetables that you would recommend? We do a lot of kale, a lot of spinach, a lot of fruit, and being older, I'd like to know which ones I should focus on to make sure I'm getting my fiber.
Love that question.
Wait. He just said, so I'm
Wants to
getting
get a lot
my
of
fiber.
Yeah, exactly. This is important. I'm glad you asked that because people who juice, actually, I'm going to let you handle that part, but I want to handle some of the things some of the foods. Very important to get beets in. Beets taste great. They're very sweet. Stave off of the fruit. I would stay away from the fruit 100%.
Right.
And you say, well, George, hold on. Who wants to have juiced vegetables? That's disgusting. I got to tell you something. If you juice properly without fruit, but if you do it properly with the right vegetables, it'll taste as sweet as if you have fruit in there. Now, you can use some carrots, but I would highly recommend beets because of helping to clean out your liver. I would recommend all different greens, and I would say a few carrots you can put in there as well. Now, the type of juicer you use, I'll let Dr. Webster talk about because I have one that I love, because people often think that they're getting what they want from the juicer, not realizing they're leaving a whole lot behind.
Yeah, so if you're juicing and it leaves the pulp behind, you're removing all of the fiber. And that's the one thing you said you wanted to make sure you're getting enough of is the fiber. So you need to make sure that if you want fiber from this and you're not eating a lot of whole vegetables on the side, you want to make sure that the juicer itself is more of a pulverizing type of a juicer rather than an extractor. So they're completely different. You
The
make
one
sure
I have
you're
is
eating the whole fruit.
Is
the
Omega,
whole vegetable.
the whole vegetable. One I have is called Omega, and it's called a masticating juicer. Do you like those? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, where it pulverizes the entire everything.
thing. Yeah.
There's no pulp left over to discard.
I put seeds in if I have apples, which I rarely do. You can put one green apple in there if you'd like.
Can I ask a naive
Go ahead,
question?
please.
So one of the advantages of juicing is you get all these nutrients, you sort of combine them, so you don't have to eat a whole refrigerator
Right.
full of fruit and vegetables.
Right.
So if you're leaving all this, if you're including all this pulp, but there's nothing left, I mean, isn't it sort of the equivalent of eating a whole refrigerator full of vegetables? I mean, you don't get the concentration of the condensed
Yes,
nutrients.
but that's good to eat
Yeah.
a whole refrigerator
Well,
full of
then why
vegetables.
juice and why not just go ahead and eat
Because who's going to
eat a refrigerator full of vegetables?
Who's going to? Number one, who wants to eat that much?
It's
Number
easy.
two, there's something else that sticks out, and I don't know if you're looking at this also, Clint, for you and your daughter, but there's certain vegetables I just don't like okra.
That's a good point.
I hate okra. But I'll tell you what, if you put okra in with these other vegetables that'll make it sweet, you don't taste it.
Yeah.
I mean, and my credibility means a whole lot to me. I'm not going to tell you to do something and risk you not liking it and not listening to me again in the future. And I'm telling you, if you juice properly, you don't have to have a bunch of fruit, if any at all, because I don't use any.
Here's my question: Why the beets and the carrots and not the fruit?
Why the beets and carrots
Yeah.
and not the fruit? Well, because of the benefits that you're going to get from the beets and the carrots for your liver and so forth. If you want to have fruit, I would rather have the fruit itself. You know, what I like about juicing is you get all minerals also.
Well, the problem with juicing, if you do it wrong, like Dr. Webster was implying,
Yeah.
if you do it with the kind that doesn't leave the pulp behind, then you are releasing the fruit juice from the pulp, and you have just sugar water then. And
Right.
that's the problem with fruit. But if you're adding the pulp, it's really no different than if you're just eating the fruit.
Exactly, but I'm not. But with me with fruit, and we've got to go.
Uh-huh.
But with me with fruit, there's only certain fruits that I'll eat because of the glycemic index, and I'll share that with everybody.
Right.
Green apples, plums, cherries, and all berries.
Right.
They're the lowest on the glycemic index.
Tell them what the highest is. It's important.
Anything with a rind on it, banana, watermelon, and so
Pineapple,
forth.
melon.
Yeah.
Remove the skin.
It removed the skin, right? All right, guys, we got to go. Still, we have some more calls that are coming up right now, and these are real important because I'm looking at the topics that Dave put on here, and I like what people are discussing. So we're still on the All About You show, 888-787-1310. It's 748 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. Sports 57 Sports Radio 1310, The Ticket. George DiGianni, Train Station Fitness Show. Let's give the information out of my guests. Dr. Jeremy Webster, how do people get in touch with you?
CompleteHealthDallas.com is the easiest way, and I invite people to sign up for my fat loss videos. I put a lot of work into these. They're completely free, and you'll learn the synergy between diet, exercise, and nutrient supplements as it relates to fat loss. So CompleteHealthDallas.com.
Dr. Light.
DallasHealthyAging.com.
Good deal. Okay, let's go to our next person. We have only a couple of minutes. Who do we have, Davey? Oh, we got TJ in DeSoto. Go ahead and make it fast, TJ. What do you got?
I'm 37. I'm really trying to get into burst training, but I'm just always worried about injury because I'm not 17 anymore when I was playing sports. Then my second question is just, can you give me tips on helping my cholesterol? I eat pretty healthy, but I cannot get my cholesterol number down.
All right, so I think what I'd like for you to do is email me or Dr. Webster about the exercise part. Cholesterol, Dr. Webster's going to take, and he's going to do it fast.
I'm actually going to do the exercise part. The great thing about burst training is work out exactly like you've always worked out. If you trained heavy, just do lighter weights so that you can get 25 or more reps, and you're doing burst training. You won't get injured because you're doing a lighter weight that's more or less closer to a warm-up type of weight. You're just taking it to complete failure.
Your body recognizes that movement already. The cholesterol information, email Dr. Webster on, because
Don't do anything to lower your cholesterol purposely.
yeah,
It's simple.
there's ways to balance it. Some people have higher cholesterol than others. It doesn't mean it's
Well,
necessarily
the easiest way to
dangerous.
lower cholesterol is have a low-carb diet and make sure you have a lot of omega-3s. That's the easiest way to do it, right out of the gate.
Low sugar, low grains.
Yeah, sugar is what's killing us in America, not high fat. Although the wrong fat is bad for you. I'm not giving you permission to eat fried foods. I am saying, however, we're fatter in America and more unhealthy in America because of too much sugar. Dennis and McKinney, you're on the ticket. Go ahead, real fast.
All right, I'm 56, totally disabled, former college and professional athlete, 5 back surgeries, failed knee replacement. Chronic pain is the biggest issue that I have.
Dennis, what's your question for us?
I don't know how to do anything. Exercise, I can't hardly walk without anything. I don't know what to do.
All right, that's you know what? That's not one we can answer on the show. I want you to email me. Go to my website, 21daybodymakeover.com. Email me. I'm going to set you up with a trainer who can maybe come out to your home one day and put you on a program to help you begin to exercise and benefit yourself. Does that sound good?
That sounds pretty good, buddy.
Good deal, Dennis. Make sure you email me. Okay, that's all the time we have for today. Mark, I see that you're hanging on the phone right now. We don't have much time, but you can email me or Dr. Webster or Dr. Light, and I'm sure we can point you in the right direction to help you with your question. All About You show went super fast today. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, George.